How you doing, guys? James here with Arrow Hiking. Today I'm just out at Mount Borbor, Mushroom Rocks, Mount Erica area, heading out for a bit of a shakeout, practice hike ready for the Kosciuszko winter traverse. So I got some new gear that I'm testing out, making sure everything sits well, everything works kind of symbiotically together. It's snowing a lot earlier than I thought it would be. It was snowing way before the car park. I thought I'd have to hike up past Mushroom Rocks before I got snow, but it's looking pretty lucky. So yeah, stay with me. I'll show you all this sick gear that I got. Hauling a 4 kilo tent, so overkill right now, but you know, when you're above Alpine area, you'll need it. So I'm just practicing for the Kosciuszko traverse, which I'll be heading out for in about 3-ish weeks. So come on, I'm saying this, like and subscribe, and you'll get to see it later on. I'll catch you later. All right, been hiking for a good couple hours now. Finally made it to the Mount Erica plateau. As you can see, it's pretty snowy. I'm quite lucky that actually someone's come up here in the past couple of days and left some tracks. Otherwise, it would have taken me even longer. The snow's probably about, I don't know, 10 odd centimeters deep, maybe 20 in some areas. I put my gaiters on maybe about 100 meters ago. Yeah, just got to keep going. It's pretty rough. Everything takes so much longer in winter. Everything just takes so much longer. I'm saturated in sweat. I'll show you the system I got to keep my feet nice and dry. I'll overlay a video here from when I put it on at the car park, but I've got Injinji toe socks, then I got a vapor barrier liner. Then I have my big woolly socks over the top, and then I got my shoes. Then I've put my gaiters on underneath my pants, and then I have my waterproof pants on over the top. And what that's going to allow is the shoes stop all the water and snow coming in, and then your feet sweat so much. So the vapor barrier liners, what they'll do is they'll stop all the sweat getting into your insulation and into your like socks and the insulation in your boots. And then what that'll do is stop it freezing overnight and keep everything nice and warm. So yeah, bit sweaty, but my feet are nice and toasty warm, which is nice. Really rate the vapor barrier liners. You can just put plastic bags or whatever in, as long as it doesn't allow any moisture to pass through, and you're good as gold. But I'm going to keep hiking through. I might find a nice spot to camp, or what I'll do is hit a summit and see what that's like. So let's keep going. Man, shovels are so sick. So as you can see, I flattened out my tent spot. I gotta wait about 20 to 30 minutes now to let the snow really harden, and then I can set up my tent. So in the meantime, I can do some other things like set up my stove, get some water going, get some warm clothes on, that sort of thing. So, man, just a dude on his shovel out here. This is sick. I tried my best to make it flat. I don't know how it looks like on the camera, but just eyeballing it, it looks fine. Pretty keen, man. Bring you back later. This stove as well, the MSR WindPro II, what I can do is flip this upside down, and when it's really, really cold, it'll be running off of the liquid inside the canister instead of gas. So there's a heating tube that you can see. What that does is turn all of the liquid isobutane, whatever, into gas. And then I can use this right down into really, really cold temperatures, which is really great for winter camping. At the moment though, it's just a power horse for melting snow. Hey, finally! Alrighty. This here is the Hilleberg Staika, about 3.7 kilos in total, and then that's not including the stakes, so I'm probably carrying maybe 300-400 grams in stakes with all the snow stakes and stuff. So let's set this up. So overkill, it is so overkill for what I'm doing right now. I could do this in a 3-season tent, I reckon, but just preparing for Kosciuszko, it's all going to be above tree line, and the wind can get absolutely ridiculous. So I'm going to be taking this to Kosciuszko, so I just want to get some preparation. I've used this a heap, but just, you know, carrying the weight and all of that stuff. So let's set it up. Alrighty, here's my stake bag. I got a mix of stakes to help the tent just get secured to the ground. So first of all, I've got a few of these just Hilleberg Y Stakes. You got to really compact them down for the snow though. Then I have 4 of these MSR Cyclones. These are wicked. They're going to go on the 4 corners that I have mapped out right now, and they're going to really hold the base down. And then if I need, for all of the guy lines, I have these MSR Blizzards. Now what I've done with these is I put some cord through it and then attach the carabiner to it, and it's done in such a way where I can move the carabiner wherever I need. I've got it set up for kind of like a dead man anchor right now. Now, usually I use these for all of the guy lines. What I can do today though is the wind is non-existent and I'm in the tree cover, so I could probably just use these to stake out the base, and that's all I'll really need. So let's go do it. you're ever setting up the tent like this, you find it's really tense and taut up the top, just take out some of the stakes, don't force it, you'll end up breaking it. That's nice, so now I can restake it down. Why is it only after you set the tent up that you really feel like the tent platform isn't straight or flat? It looks so flat when you set it up. Second you put a tent on it, 45-degree angle. It's ridiculous. Alrighty, welcome back. It's been a couple hours, sun's about to set, so it's about 5:30 or so. Just having some dinner now. Got the stove cooking, and for dinner we have homemade dehydrated lentils with minced beef and a bunch of tomato sauce, dehydrated tomatoes, and Deb's mashed potato. Super easy to make. So cheap as well. Just add water, probably about 500 mils, leave it for 10-15 minutes, the exact same as a dehydrated meal, but so much cheaper. And then I just chuck it in this homemade koozie. So I'm gonna be watching The Simpsons, as well as The Hurt Locker tonight, so I'm gonna be enjoying life. I'm not too hungry actually, but I'm just kind of forcing myself to eat, because if you don't eat, especially in winter time, your body will burn a lot of calories and you'll get quite cold. So it's always good to have quite a lot of food before you go to sleep. I've been snacking a lot, so it's just sugar. So I'm gonna force myself to have some carbs and protein, and then I'll check back with you later. Alrighty, water's boiled, so let's chuck it in. It's looking so good. Hopefully I can do this without stopping everything up. How's that look? Okay, so I've survived the night. I thought I'd go over a couple of the systems that I'm going to be using. First, I'll go over my sleep system. As mentioned last night, this is the Planet Bungle. So I've picked this one up in 850 fill power down. It's hydrophobic, so even though it gets condensation, it's not really a big issue. This one is the warmest version, so as shown yesterday, the limit of comfort's -17, so I'm going to be very, very warm. I find that I sleep and I run quite cold, so there's a lot of buffer in my sleep system just to make sure that I'm nice and cozy. So this is the tent. This is the sleeping bag. I'll pack this up and then I'll go over the next system. Okay, and that just fits in a 15-litre stuff sack. This is one of the pods. It fits very nice in the bottom of a pack. Some people like to just stuff it all in a pack liner, but I find for winter there's the possibility of things getting a lot more wet and susceptible to wet, just touching the snow and stuff. So for winter, I'll just chuck everything in their own little stuff sacks just to kind of add another layer of protection against all that moisture and water. Next one after that, I have the Thermarest XTherm. This is one of the Neo Airs. I picked this up in the regular wide, so it's nice and wide. I don't need the long version or anything. This has an R value of 7. It is so warm. I don't feel any of the cold coming up from underneath, so this will do very nicely. Let's pack it up. Okay, last piece of installation I have is just this reflective sheet. This cost $10 from AliExpress. I picked up quite a large version and then I cut it to be the perfect shape of the tent. All in all, this weighs about 180 grams, so much lighter than a Nemo Switchback or any of those closed cell foam pads. Doesn't provide enough R value, but with the XTherm that's not an issue. What I like about it is it's enough to sit on and it covers the whole tent so that no matter where I am, I'm going to be nice and warm. I find this is just so much luxury. When I've camped in the exact same tent in the snow and it's just so awful having such a cold floor. So this is kind of like one of those must-have winter luxury items. I really enjoy this. I even have another one for my other tent, which I might show you in another video. But yeah, this is amazing. Really like this. I even folded up and you saw me sitting on it outside when I was cooking dinner. It's really nice. Alrighty, so this is my small items bag. This is where I just carry all of my loose items that would otherwise just get lost in the bottom of the pack. Let's go through what I'm going to be bringing along. So first of all, I have some mountaineering sunglasses. These are a category 4 lens, so not really even meant to drive with these because they're so dark, but they work so well. If I can get them out. They work so well for snow hiking, and if there's, say, lots of sleet blowing around, this will block any light and any sleet coming in and hitting your eyes. I feel just so sick wearing these things. Yeah, absolutely amazing. Will stop your eyes from getting burnt or snow blindness. I just keep them in here. And yeah, absolutely amazing. This here is really cool. These are kind of compressed little towels. Once again, you can buy them from a chemist, but you can also get like a pack of 1 billion for 4 cents from AliExpress. You just add a little bit of water and then you have a towel. So if you make a mess or just need to wipe your face, get sunscreen off in the summer or whatever, these are amazing. I have 5 in here and it takes up no space. Highly recommend getting these. They're called compressed towels or dehydrated towels. They're really cool. I have some of this bright white lens cleaner. I haven't tried this yet, but I'm hoping this works well. It came with a microfiber cloth. The idea is that if your glasses fog up, you just spray this on, give it a wipe, and it'll help manage all of the fog and condensation on your glasses. In a blizzard up at Hotham the other week, it was nearly impossible wearing them because the fog was so bad. So I'm hoping this kind of helps remedy that. Kind of as a last resort effort to get warm, or if I'm just feeling pretty cheeky, I have some toe warmers and some hand warmers. So if my feet just aren't warming up, my hands just aren't warming up, or I've used this for my mate who got hypothermia, and I put this on, you know, his arteries in his legs and by his chest, and that helps warm him up as well. So these are quite valuable in the winter time. Just a little toothbrush. For lighting, I have a Nitecore NU25 Classic. It's only 360 lumens. It's not the brightest, but it does work really well, and I like how it's USB-C charged, so I can just charge it on the go. Super light. It's really good for summer. I think if I'm going to be hiking in the winter, and I know I'm going to be hiking a lot at night, I'd pick up something with a longer battery and a bit more lumens. but for just getting caught out in the dark or camp chores around the tent, this is perfectly fine. Here I have this is amazing. I don't go anywhere without this. Flextail mini pump with the Thermarest adapter. Is a lantern as well, so you hang it up here and you have light. And then this weighs 8 grams. It's just a little light diffuser from Montbell. You put the torch in and it diffuses the light, so it's not super bright. I do it for the torch, and if I'm going ultralight, sometimes I'll just put the head torch in and it diffuses the light really well. It also acts as a stuff sack for it if I know I'm not going to be using this quite often. For my electronics, in this little pouch I have everything for charging. So USB-C to lightning, USB-C to USB-C, and then for my Garmin I have this little adapter which plugs into USB-C, plugs into my Garmin. I'm rocking the Forerunner 965. I cannot get lost with this thing. It has built-in GPS maps, so every time I need to find out where to go, I just look at my watch and it shows me exactly what to do and where to go. So it's really good in snow as well when the track's completely covered. I can just follow the map on this. It's really, really useful. And then charging everything. NB 10,000 power bank by Nitecore. It's nearly dead. I think I need to keep it warmer, but this works quite well. I might pick up another one if I'm going to be away for more than 3 days, but this works well, fits in there with all my electronics, and yeah, I even take this on day trips just to the city if I know I'm going to be using my phone a lot. Super useful. So that all fits in a 1 litre little zippy pouch thing. Works well. Quite like it. Alrighty, I'm going to say goodbye to you guys here. It's been a really successful trip. I'm super happy with how all my gear works together. It's probably about 2 hours down back to the car and then about 30 minutes of donuts in the snow in the Subi. So it's going to be a pretty hectic day heading back home. Now, one piece of gear or group of gear that you may not have heard me talk about is how all my clothing works together. You're going to have to wait until the next video to see how all of my gear and all my clothing works. I got some pretty awesome, maybe like Alpha Direct. I'm even trying a briny mesh base layer. My mate saw me put on the base layer and the first thing he said was, "You're gay." But joke's on him, we share a tent together, so that's on him, man. Anyway, I'll leave you here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Like and subscribe, please. That way I can get my channel up and running.